what I'm going to do right now on this board is that I'm going to draw, or we're going to build a mind map which helps you to review the main points that we took during the week in the chapter for finance. Ziad, when we talked about the meaning of the word finance, what do we mean by the word finance here? Finance.
Money.
Money, okay. We're looking for different ways to get the money needed to spend on different things. Whether it's buying equipment, buying land, paying salaries, paying for a car that we want to buy for the factory or so on, right? So one of the main things that we talked about during the week in this chapter for the sources of finance is the types of financing. We said that under the types of financing, we have internal sources of finance and we have external. Malak Abul Yusr, I would like to hear your voice. What is the difference between the internal pay? What's the difference between the internal and the external sources of finance? ايه هو الفرق بين الانترنال والاكسترنال؟ The external, we're not using our own money. We use the money of somebody else. We go to the bank, ask the bank for a business loan. Mr. Abdullah, are you having good time chatting on the mobile phone? Pay attention, yeah? Okay. Everybody else, open your cameras, switch your cameras on. So in the external, we're not using our own money, but we're using the money of somebody else. We are using the money of the shareholders, we're using the money of the bank, we're borrowing the money from the bank, and therefore, this is the external sources of finance. Using money of others. Tamam? Using the money of other people, whether these people are shareholders or the bank. Now let's move on to the one to the left-hand side here. The left-hand side here, we're talking about the internal. So the internal sources of finance include all the sources of finance where we depend on our own resources, the money that we have, right? So what is the easiest one? The easiest one to remember for the internal sources of finance. It includes what? Retained profits. Mr. Ahmed Mu'taz, it's good to see you on the screen. Can you just tell me what do we mean by the word retained in English? What do we mean by the word retain?
بس انا فاكر حضرتك اخر مره قلتها بس
Yes.
ثانيه كده.
Yes, go ahead. Ziad, I want to see your face on the screen. Mazen? Yes, go ahead.
I can't remember بصراحه to be honest يعني.
Mister, it's the money left from
Yes.
I don't know, the money left.
ركز يا حبيبي ركز.
So to retain, it means to keep, right? So when we're talking about retained profit, it means what? The profits we keep after what? After paying all the costs, all the interests, all the taxes, and so on, right? So one of the internal sources of finance is the retained profits we're making. We're just reusing the profits that we made during the year. Am I right, yeah, Mazen? Next time I repeat,
Of course, Mr. You're right.
face, I would like to see your face on the camera. It means automatically that you're losing marks for this. Yeah? Same thing for Ziad. I do not see your face. It means that you're absent. Are you having good chat over the phone, yeah? يا مازن.
والله موبايلي على الجنب
انا
بس
معيش
مش
تليفون،
بالله.
معيش رصيد اصلا.
خلاص. All right. So retained profits. What about this school? Let's say that this school doesn't want this smart board. So can the school sell this smart board and get the cash instead? So the second is selling unused assets. This is another source of finance. Fine. This is the main point. This is the first main point that we talked about. The second main point that we talked about is that why do we need the finance? Why do we need money? What would be the different causes or the different reasons that we need a certain amount of money for any company, whether it's big or small? Mr. Safadi, I cannot hear your voice. Are you talking?
صح كنت على ميوت. They need money. The companies need money to make more products.
I want accounting terms.
They need retain profit
Retained profit
to make more.
not spending.
بفكر يا مستر بفكر. To make مش عارف يا مستر والله ما اعرف.
Mr. Ahmed, Tariq, what type of companies spending do we have? What are the companies spending their money on?
Wages.
Okay. We have short-term spending,
Medium term.
which includes, yes,
ده كان في الهومر كويس ده كان في الهومر.
utilities. Okay, what else? This is number one. Number two, what else?
Mr. Banking. لا wait. Short term banking أو long term banking.
ملموس انا ولا ايه؟
Capital,
إيه؟
right?
Mr. long term banking.
Yeah. But long-term banking, this is a source of finance. We're talking here now about the spending. Amen? Right. So the second type of spending, which is the capital spending. What do we mean by the capital spending?
Capital spending.
Capital spending, this is spending on long-lived assets. Yeah? What do we mean by long-lived assets? Ahmed.
قب
What do we mean by long-lived? Why did we call it long-lived? They live for a short period of time or they live for a long period of time?
Long period of time.
Long-lived assets. Can you give me an example, Malak?
لا I can't يا مستر بصراحة.
Machines. This smart board, the projector, is a long-lived asset, right? This building is a long-lived asset, right? The building of the school itself it's a long-lived asset, and therefore we need a big amount of money, right? Okay. So capital spending, this is spending on long-lived assets. Am I right?
Yes.
Right. So when airlines companies buying An airplane, this is long-lived asset because the airplane can be used for 40 years, 30 years, 20 years, right? Okay. Like, so these were the main points that we discussed during the week. All right. Now let's have a look at these 4 examples of costs. The first one is that we need to pay, let's say, 500,000 Egyptian pounds to build a school or to build a hospital. Is this going to be capital spending or recurring spending? Malak, we're building a school building, we need to pay $500,000.
Mister, can I say it?
Which type of spending is this?
Can I say it?
Yes, go ahead.
Capital spending.
Capital spending. So this is capital spending. The second, we're buying number of trucks for the factory in order to be able to transport the goods to the market.
Capital spending.
Mr. Ahmed. So what type of spending is this when we are buying number of trucks?
When we're buying trucks,
Yeah. The trucks is long asset, right?
yes.
Okay.
Good morning, Mr.
We can
Muhammad.
use these trucks for
Good morning, guys.
years. Yes.
Good,
When you join.
good morning, Mr. Muhammad.
Okay.
Good morning, Mr.
I
Ez.
know,
I'm sorry about that. My internet just
Okay.
uh,
I do understand.
البنج عندك عالي قوي. هاتوا اكس هاتوا اكس.
By the way, one of the rules when you enter and when you're late, yeah, be quiet. Just enter quietly. Thank you. So
I
buying,
apologize.
it is a type of capital spending.
انت غلطان يا عز.
What about paying salaries? Is this repetitive or it happens
يا
only?
مستر انا كنت بعمل مسكوت عشان اجاوب يا مستر.
Go ahead, yeah. When we're
اللي بتاعت الباين تراكس والله كنت
does this
مستنيين.
happen
يا
or once in a while?
Mister,
Yes.
what is the other option except capital spending?
We have the second one, which is the
Short
word,
term.
or, yeah, the recurring spend.
Paying salaries is short term.
Yes, short term.
Paying salaries is short term.
Okay, so this is short term spending. And what about paying electricity bills? This happens.
Nah, this is capital.
Okay, so this is also short term spending every month.
Mister, how is electricity bills short term?
Again,
How is electricity bills short term?
you're going to pay the electricity bills every month or every 3
Hey, you're gonna pay them forever. You're not gonna just
It happens
stop paying electricity.
during the year. It might happen 12 months. You need to pay the electricity bills 12 times every year. So this is a short-term spending, but
okay.
buying trucks, when you are buying airplanes, when you are building a factory, the cost here, it's included in the capital spending. The capital spending related to long-lived, but the recurrent spending or the short-term spending, this is related to repetitive spending. It happens day in, day out, weekly or monthly. Got it? Fine. I want everybody to open the presentation for the sources of finance.
Where's the presentation?
Definitely, it's on the Lernovia under week 15, 16.
مستر حضرتك عندك لاج ولا ايه؟ انا مش سامعك. مستر محمد.
Excuse me. In English, can you talk in English? Thank you.
مستر محمد. Mr. Muhammad.
Moving.
Where do I find where specifically on Lernovia do I find the
Under week 15, 16,
the presentation?
you will find a folder which says lesson notes and presentations. Okay, got it?
Notes and presentations? I don't have notes and presentations.
Yes,
عندي
sir.
notes and worksheets.
Notes and worksheets.
Yes.
اللي هو sources of finance.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, everybody listen to this. I'm going to share also one slide from my side. Now, I want you to have a look at this slide on the screen. Everybody, look at this slide on the screen. And listen to this rule. The rule says, short-term spending must be financed through short-term sources of finance. Right. Which one of these four spending items should be financed using a short-term source of finance? Short-term spending must be covered with short-term sources of finance. طيب. Let's say يا ملك, Mazen, Ahmed, Ez. Let's say that I have shortage of money and I want to pay the salaries. I want to pay what? I want to pay the salaries, but I do not have enough money.
بس ينفع اروح تويلت؟
Go.
لا ما تروحش.
Okay, go. Okay. And
هتعمل ايه في التويلت؟
okay, and do it quietly. Thank you. So let's assume that we want to pay salaries, but we do not have enough cash.
Do it quickly.
So, right? So in this case, we have to use what? We have to use one of these short-term sources of finance. Either we take bank overdraft, we go to the trade credit associations or debt factoring. Right? But let's say that Ez or Ahmed or Abdullah, Safari, you're working as a financing manager in a company, and this company wants to buy 10 trucks. 10 trucks, but you want some money. So how can you get the cash needed to buy the trucks?
Profit. Or a bank loan.
Bank loan, okay. What else?
Profit from your company. The profit from your company or money from your company, a woman.
Yes, you can use the retained profits. Okay, So you're talking now, until now, you're talking about the internal sources of finance, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have any more sources of finance?
Long-term bank loans.
Okay, bank loans. But why long term? ليه قلت long
So you don't pay them in the short term, so you're gonna pay them more.
Yeah.
You're gonna pay large amounts in one time in one time.
Oh,
Long term, you pay short amounts.
yes. The spending on the trucks, this is capital spending. احنا مش هنشتري trucks كل شهر. We're going to buy it only once in a while. So the trucks is source of what or type of long-lived asset. For the long-lived asset, we use only the long-term sources of finance. What are the sources of finance that you have here on the screen, Ya'ez? Can you hear me? So what are the sources of the long-term finance?
The sources of the long-term finance, debentures. Mr. Can you can hear me, sir?
Yes.
Okay, debentures, and which are also called loans,
Yes.
and the loans اللي هي to people or from people اللي هي الحاجات الصغيرة.
Yeah.
And long-term bank loans اللي هي like the long-term thing اللي هو when I take for example $2 billion from the bank and I promise to pay them off as
After 10.
يعني أيا كان بقى. بس يعني قصدي like large amounts of money.
Yes.
And the equity finance shares, permanent capital, which is like the capital that I have that I'm spend. Like it's that limit that I'm not going to spend over because that's when I know that something is wrong with my company.
Okay, very good. But let's have a look at the third source of finance at the bottom, which says permanent capital. Now, are all the companies able to sell these permanent capital or the shares? Can the companies sell shares, or only a specific type of companies which are able to?
Public companies. اللي هو مش private companies.
Only the public limited companies. Instead of saying public companies, we have to say public limited companies or the
Private limited companies بيبقوا مع friends, families.
Yes.
Okay.
Very good. That's excellent. So not all.
I did the business IG if I know all this.
Yes. So not all of the companies are able to sell these stocks in order to raise capital needed to pay for long-lived assets. So this is one of the problems, right? All right. All right, guys. Do you have any questions? Any questions? Any questions on the missing assignments?
No. Mr. I submitted my assignments برضو not on the missing assignments بس في الassignment نفسه.
Okay.
عادي. I submitted برضو اللي هو الassignment اللي هو المفروض يتسلم كمان 3 أو 4 أيام ده سلمته النهارده.
Okay, so you turned this in on what? Like,
What?
where did you submit your work?
I submit اللي هو الassignment بتاع today في الفولدر بتاع الassignment بتاعه.
Can you just talk in English?
I submitted الassignment بتاع today اللي هو it's due next week in its folder.
I'm talking about the incomplete work or the.
I'm not sure. يا إما I submitted in the incomplete folder or I submitted in the يعني in their folder اللي هو كل assignment in its folder. I'm not sure.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, any questions? Ahmed, Mu'taz, do you have any questions related to the assignments from trimester 1?
No, Mr. I submitted the assignments.
Ahmed, Yusuf, Ziad, Malak.
أحمد أنا ولا أحمد طارق؟
I'm talking to everybody. Do we have any questions on the assignments from trimester 1.
No,
thank
Mr.
you.
Everything is great, but I
No,
have
I
some
think
problems in the laptop, so I cannot submit any assignment right now. Yeah.
So what are you
Mister.
just
I'm just gonna fix it. I'm just gonna fix what's happening. يعني I'm gonna submit it in its
انت
time.
عارف تعمل باك جراوند في لابتوب مش عارف تعمل اسايمنت على لابتوب مستر
Yes.
بقول لك اسمه ايه الاساينمنت بتاع الهوش كان في حته شورت تيرم وميديوم تيرم بدل ما احطهم في البوكس بتاعهم عملت جنبيهم براكت شورت تيرم ده شورت جنب الكلمه براكت اوكي
That's great. Great. Thank you, Sofadi.
يلا
Okay, wait. I'm just going to take the attendance. All right, guys, I wish you a happy hot weekend. All right, be safe. Have a wonderful day ahead. Bye-bye. Take care.
هتوحشنا يا مستر محمد.
حبيبي مازن. Okay, take care.
ربنا يخليك.
Be safe, huh?
الحمد لله.
All right, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.